Hey everyone, this is Zenith, her voice, her stories. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I have a story that's going to keep you on the edge of your seat. So grab a seat, get comfortable, and get ready. Because what you're about to hear is full of twists, emotions, and lessons you won't forget. If you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's dive in. Was a man named Marcus, once full of life, but somewhere along the road, he lost his way. What started as a few drinks after work turned into something darker. Days blurred into nights, and the only thing that seemed to matter anymore was his next high. He lost his job, his home, and eventually, the trust of everyone who once loved him. But there was one person who never gave up: his little boy Jaden. Every Sunday, Jaden would sit by the window with a small backpack, waiting for his dad, who promised to take him to the park. Most days, Marcus never showed up, and when he did, he was a ghost of himself. One day, Marcus arrived late again, only to see his son asleep by the window, holding a drawing. On it was a picture of the two of them holding hands, with the words, "Daddy, please come back." Something in Marcus broke that night, but in a good way. He sat on the floor and cried like he hadn't in years. He realized he was tired of losing, tired of lying, tired of being someone his son couldn't be proud of. The next morning, he walked himself to a rehab center. It wasn't easy. The nights were long, the cravings were cruel, and the guilt felt heavier than the addiction itself. But every time he wanted to quit, he looked at that drawing. It became his anchor. 1 year later, Marcus stood at Jaden's school assembly, clean, steady, and alive. When Jaden saw him, he ran into his father's arms, yelling, "You came back, Daddy." Marcus smiled with tears in his eyes and whispered, "I promised you I would." That day, he didn't just win his battle with addiction, he won back his purpose. Months turned into years, and Marcus kept walking the path of redemption. He started volunteering at the same rehab center that once saved his life. Every Friday, he'd sit in a circle of men and women fighting their own demons. And he'd tell them, "If I can do it, you can too. You just have to find your why." For him, that why was Jake. He worked 2 jobs, saved every penny, and eventually got a small apartment. It wasn't too much, just a 1-bedroom with creaky floors and secondhand furniture, but to Marcus, it felt like a mansion. For the first time in years, he could make breakfast for his son, help with homework, and tuck him into bed. But the real test came one evening. As Marcus walked home from work, an old friend from his past pulled up in a car, offering him a ride, and more than that, offering him a little something to take the edge off. For a split second, Marcus felt that familiar pull. His hands trembled. The voice of temptation whispered, "Just one time." But then, he remembered that night by the window. He remembered the drawing. He smiled, looked his old friend in the eye, and said, "No, man, I've got somewhere better to be." When he got home, Jaden ran up and hugged him tight. "Dad, guess what? My teacher asked us to write about our hero, and I wrote about you." Marcus froze, his throat tightening. "Me?" he asked softly. Jaden nodded with pride and said, "You're my hero, because you never gave up." That night, Marcus sat on the balcony, looking at the stars. He realized something powerful, that recovery wasn't just about getting clean. It was about becoming the man he was always meant to be. He whispered into the night, "Thank you, God, for giving me another chance." And from that moment on, Marcus dedicated his life to helping other fathers find their way back, not just to sobriety, but to love, responsibility, and hope. Because every man who rises from the darkness teaches another that light is still possible. Wow, what a story, right? If you love hearing real-life stories like this, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel so you never miss a story. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.